Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
You know that feeling? You see these amazing photos from all over the world, hear these incredible adventure stories, and you just think, wow, I wish.
To do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then almost immediately the cost.
Yeah.
It just feels like real travel, exploring the world is, well, it's reserved for people with loads of cash.
It's such a common barrier, isn't it? The idea that travel is inherently expensive.
Yeah.
It stops so many people before they even start dreaming properly.
Exactly. And, that assumption, that's what we're aiming to tackle in this deep dive. We've found a really great source for this, a guide called How to Travel on a Dime.
Sounds promising.
Right. So our mission today is pretty clear. Unpack the core insights from this guide. We want to give you the practical knowledge to, see the world without needing to win the lottery first.
And this guide, it comes from Kokoshungsan Ltd, founded by Dr. Shu Chen Hou. Her background is quite interesting. Yeah, she started in science, apparently, which you can sort of feel in the analytical approach sometimes, but then shifted into writing, composing, and eventually founding this platform. It's a real mix of logic and creativity.
I like that. And it seems to feed into Kokoshungsan Ltd's whole mission, doesn't it? From what I read, it was founded with this idea of breaking down barriers to education, empowering people through learning that's accessible.
Mm-hmm. The name itself, Kokoshungsan, is apparently inspired by her parents, symbolizing how learning unlocks potential. It seems to have grown from that vision into a pretty substantial global digital platform now.
Offering all sorts of resources, ebooks, audiobooks, courses.
Yeah, the underlying theme seems to be that accessible knowledge is power for personal growth, skills, even financial independence. They frame it as contributing to positive global change, which is quite ambitious.
Which makes a guide on budget travel feel like a perfect fit, right? Giving people the tools to experience the world, learn from it, regardless of their bank balance. Okay, enough about the background, interesting as it is. Let's actually get into the guide. What wisdom is inside How to Travel on a Dime?
Well, interestingly, the guide suggests the first step isn't actually looking at flight prices or destinations.
No, where then?
It starts inward. It really emphasizes defining your purpose for traveling. It's all about being intentional.
Okay, so before I even think about, say, Italy or Thailand, I need to ask myself, why do I want to go? What am I hoping to get out of it? Experience, learn, what kind of memories do I want?
Precisely. The guide actually calls these questions your compass. And here's the key insight for budget travel. Having clear goals doesn't restrict you. It actually guides your decisions, especially when money's tight.
Okay. So knowing my why helps me decide where the money should go.
Exactly. If your goal is, say, deep cultural immersion, you might choose to spend money on a local cooking class or stay in a homestay rather than splurging on a fancy hotel you'll barely see. It helps you prioritize.
That makes a lot of sense. Cutting out the fluff that doesn't serve your purpose.
Mm-hmm. And it strongly makes the point that adventure doesn't need a hefty price tag. Think about experiences like hiking, camping under the stars, or even couch surfing connecting directly with locals. These can be incredibly profound and, very low cost, sometimes even free.
That's a really important mindset shift, isn't it? Away from just ticking off expensive, famous sites.
Yes. It's about seeking experiences that align with your personal travel goals. But the guides also adds a nice little caveat. While your goals are the compass, you need to stay open to spontaneity.
Right. Don't plan everything down to the minute.
Exactly. Often the best travel moments, the real magic, happens in those unexpected detours or chance encounters. So ultimately, the guide suggests travel isn't really measured by how far you go or how much you spend.
But by the richness of the experience, what you bring back inside.
That's the essence of it. Travel measured in moments, not dollars.
I love that. Okay, so compass set, purpose define. Let's talk brass tacks. Planning the actual trip. The guide seems big on research and preparation.
It's fundamental. Good research lets you dive into the destination's culture, history, and, the practical stuff before you even leave home. The guide suggests the usual suspects: TripAdvisor, Lonely Planet, Rick Steves.
Standard travel sites, yeah.
But it also highlights travel blogs.
For the personal touch. First-hand accounts, tips you might not find elsewhere.
Exactly that real-world perspective. And crucially, it stresses using official, local, or government websites. This is non-negotiable for things like entry requirements, safety updates, local laws.
Especially for international travel. Gotta get that right.
Absolutely. The guide also brings financial planning into this early stage. Exchange rates, for example.
Yeah, that can make a huge difference to your spending power.
A massive difference. Researching exchange rates before picking a destination can literally show you where your home currency stretches further. The guide advises looking into how to get good rates, planning your exchange strategy, and being super aware of hidden fees. It's like giving yourself a discount.
And what about timing? Seasonality must play a big role in budget travel.
Oh, huge. Peak season means peak prices and peak crowds, almost always.
So the guide recommends
traveling during the shoulder season, spring or fall, or even the off-peak season usually saves significantly on flights and accommodation. Plus, you often get a more relaxed, maybe more authentic experience without the hordes.
just need to check the weather for that time of year, I guess. Don't want to arrive in monsoon season by accident.
Precisely. Do your homework on weather. And also watch out for local festivals or holidays that can cause price spikes, even outside the main tourist season.
Good point. Beyond the money stuff, planning obviously has to cover safety and health too.
Paramount. The guide advises really digging into the safety situation for your specific destination. It mentions resources like Numbeo for crime stats, but definitely check your own government's travel advisories.
And local tourism boards? Maybe recent traveler reviews?
Yes, use multiple sources to get a balanced picture. And visas. Cannot stress this enough.
Don't leave that to the last minute.
Absolutely not. Check official government websites, embassy or consulate sites only. Get that sorted well in advance.
Okay, so purpose clear, research done. Let's talk about actually moving around the world, getting there and finding a place to stay affordably. Flights first.
Right. The guide covers the basics. Definitely travel off-peak if you can. Use flight comparison tools. Skyscanner, Google Flights, Kayak are mentioned to compare prices across airlines easily.
Flexibility is key, I imagine.
Totally. The guide suggests being open to flights with layovers. They take longer, sure, but the savings can be substantial. And booking. Well, booking way in advance can work, but sometimes snagging last-minute deals does too, especially if your dates are flexible. Keep an eye out for sales and promotions.
Okay, flight sorted. Now, where to sleep without blowing the budget? The guide covers a range of options, I assume.
Oh yeah, a whole spectrum. And again, the key is research and comparing prices on platforms like Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, Agoda, TripAdvisor.
So what are the main budget options highlighted? Hostels?
Hostels are the classic, yeah. The guide points out their affordability, the social vibe great for solo travelers, often shared kitchens which save a ton on food costs, and staff who usually have great local tips. Plus, many now offer private rooms too.
Right, not just dorms anymore. What else? Guest houses.
Guest houses get a mention. Often family-run, can be really charming, affordable, and give you a more personal, localized experience than a big hotel.
And budget hotels. Sort of a middle ground.
Exactly. A step up in privacy, often your own bathroom, maybe more consistent amenities like Wi-Fi, but still at a lower price point than the major chains. Predictable, reliable.
What about Airbnb or other vacation rentals?
Definitely covered. Great for feeling more like a local, having kitchen access, maybe more space, especially cost-effective if you're traveling as a group and can split the cost.
And for the really budget-conscious or adventurous?
The guide brings up camping, obviously, and other alternative stays like eco-lodges or even house-sitting sometimes. These can slash accommodation costs, get you close to nature, and offer, really unique stories.
Okay, so you've arrived, you have a place to stay. How do you actually get around your destination affordably?
Public transport is usually the first go-to. Buses, trains, subways. They're generally cost-effective, better for the environment, and honestly a great way to see how local people live.
Any tips for using public transport from the guide?
Yeah, research the system before you need it. Get maps, download relevant apps, figure out ticketing, and just be aware of local etiquette and, basic safety precautions.
What about renting a car? Sometimes that feels necessary to get off the beaten path.
It definitely offers freedom, no doubt, especially for rural areas or national parks. But the guide wisely flags that the cost isn't just the daily rental rate.
Right, insurance.
Absolutely critical. Understand what things like collision damage waiver, CDW, or supplemental liability insurance, SLI, actually cover. Factor in fuel, tolls, parking, maybe mileage limits. And if you're driving abroad, check your license validity and learn the local road rules.
Makes sense. And for exploring cities or shorter distances?
Walking and biking, often the best way to really see a place, soak it in. And usually free or very low cost if you use bike shares.
Comfortable shoes are key then.
Non-negotiable. The guide emphasizes good footwear and maybe planning routes for longer walks. Biking is great too, but again, safety first helmets, knowing the routes.
All right, moving on to two other big travel essentials, food and activities. This is where a budget can easily get derailed, right?
For sure, but it's also where you can have some amazing experiences affordably. The guide puts a real spotlight on local cuisine, especially street food in markets, compared to always eating in restaurants.
So street food isn't just cheaper, it's better.
Well, the guide argues it often offers deeper cultural insights. It's affordable, obviously, super accessible, incredibly varied. You interact directly with vendors and often find the most authentic local flavors. Markets are described as treasure troves, both for eating and for finding ingredients.
Okay, but any tips for eating street food safely? Some people worry about that.
Yeah, the guide offers practical advice. Maybe do a little research on popular spots, look for places with high turnover, trust your gut on hygiene, maybe start with cooked items. It's part of the adventure, but sensible precautions are good.
And cooking your own meals, if you have that kitchen access in your hostel or rental.
Huge budget saver, according to the guide. You control the ingredients, you can experiment with local recipes using fresh stuff from the market. Plus, shopping in a local market is a cultural experience in itself. It's presented as a great way to connect.
Cool. What about activities? Seeing the sights?
The guide suggests focusing first on free and low-cost options. Think parks, beaches, hiking trails, wandering through interesting neighborhoods, public gardens, maybe museums that have free admission days or hours. Walking tours can be great value too.
Those are often the best experiences anyway, the simple ones.
Often, yeah. And for paid attractions, the guide advises being savvy about discounts. Look online for deals before you go. Check for group rates if applicable, see if student or senior discounts apply, and check if any memberships you already hold offer reciprocal benefits elsewhere.
Smart. Okay, let's tie some threads together. Mastering the day-to-day logistics, finances, and staying safe on the road. Budget tracking seems key.
The guide frames it as absolutely essential for budget travel, not optional. It talks about planning your budget before the trip, breaking down expected costs, and then actively tracking your spending during the trip, using an app or even just a notebook.
Setting a daily spending target, maybe?
That could be really helpful, yeah. Yeah, and crucially, always, always have a separate emergency fund. You hope you won't need it, but you need it to be there.
And practical money tips, currency exchange, ATMs.
Yeah, research exchange rates before you need to exchange cash. Definitely avoid airport exchange kiosks if you can. Their rates are usually terrible. Using local ATMs is often better for rates.
But watch out for fees.
Exactly. Fees from the local ATM and potentially from your own bank back home. The guide recommends looking into bank accounts or credit cards that offer zero foreign transaction fees. That can save a surprising amount. And a simple tip, tell your bank your travel dates beforehand.
Oh yeah, so your card doesn't get suddenly blocked for suspicious activity. Good one. What about safety and health again? Insurance comes up.
Big time. The guide stresses that travel insurance isn't a place to skimp to save money. Understand the different types: trip cancellation, medical emergency cover, lost baggage, delays, medical evacuation.
So how do you choose the right policy without overspending?
Compare policies carefully from different providers. The guide mentions you might reduce costs by choosing a higher deductible, the amount you pay before insurance kicks in, or checking if your credit card offers some basic coverage. But the main message is, ensure you have adequate coverage, especially for health emergencies.
And day-to-day safety.
Just reinforcing common sense, really. Pack a basic first aid kit, Practice good hygiene. Hand washing is key. Be cautious with food and water sources, especially in certain regions. Stay aware of your surroundings. Use reputable transport options, especially at night.
And have an emergency plan.
Know the local equivalent of 9/11. Have copies of your important documents separate from the originals. Know how to contact your embassy or consulate if you get into serious trouble. Simple things that provide peace of mind.
The guide also seems to touch on, the deeper side of travel, too, beyond just the practical stuff. Connecting with people, responsibility.
Yeah, it highlights how engaging with locals and fellow travelers can really enrich the experience. It mentions using online communities or social media groups beforehand, or even looking into short volunteer sims if that aligns with your purpose.
And being a responsible traveler, what does that mean in this context?
Thinking about your impact. The guide suggests things like packing light, using public transport or walking, biking instead of taxis all the time, trying to reduce waste, carrying a reusable water bottle, for example, supporting local businesses by shopping and eating locally, choosing locally owned accommodation where possible.
Embracing slow travel, maybe?
Yeah.
Spending more time in one place?
Exactly. That's mentioned as a way to travel more deeply and responsibly. Overall, the guide reflects on how budget travel, because it often involves navigating challenges and being resourceful, leads to really unforgettable experiences.
And deeper cultural understanding, personal growth.
Definitely. Building self-reliance, adaptability, learning things about yourself you might not discover on a perfectly packaged, predictable tour.
It really comes back to that initial idea, doesn't it? Travel measured in moments and experiences, not just dollars spent.
Precisely. That seems to be the core philosophy woven through the guide.
Well, this has been a great deep dive. We've pulled out, I think, some really practical and inspiring insights from how to travel on a dime. It sounds like a genuinely useful resource for anyone wanting to make travel more accessible.
Absolutely. And if you listening want to get hold of the full guide itself or explore other resources, mentioned the ebooks, audiobooks, online courses focused on accessible learning, you can find all of that over at Kokoshungsan.net.
That website, again, is Kokoshungsan.net. And it really ties back to what you said earlier about the founder, Dr. Shu Chen Hou, and the company's mission.
Empowering people through accessible knowledge. It feels like this guide is a perfect example of that mission in action. It's positioned as more than just travel advice. It's part of a movement for learning and exploration being open to everyone. You can find out more about that broader vision there, too.
So the main takeaway here seems pretty clear. Traveling the world on a budget. It's not just a fantasy, it's achievable, it's a choice. And the experiences you gain can be incredibly rich, measured in those moments and connections, not your bank statement.
Exactly. Hopefully this discussion, drawing on the guide's wisdom, has given you a bit of a roadmap and maybe sparked some ideas.
And maybe a little confidence boost to start planning.
Right. So as you think about your own travel dreams, here's a final thought to mull over, picking up on that theme of personal growth. What unexpected strength or maybe what new perspective about yourself might your next budget-friendly adventure unlock?
Something to think about. And remember, for more resources to help you on that journey, check out Kokoshungsan.net.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.